What is going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to another edition of On the Road to Victory. I am your host, Jimmy Smith, and I hope you're all having yourselves a great start to your week, a great Monday night. But we are here to talk some birds and, of course, some free agents. As I told you, this week we would get into who is remaining out there. And, well, I've got a list of 200 for you. We're going to look at each position. Then we'll look at the best fits for the Eagles. I've got 50 of them. I've got the best fit at each position. So we're going to break it all down. I'll give you all the information you need to know beforehand, the free agency tracker for the Eagles, the depth chart. So you get a look. We'll skim through that last night. We just had a recap, so go check that out. But I'll touch on it just so you understand what's going on for the Eagles right now. And maybe you can decide for yourself where the Eagles need to look. But just know that right now, as it stands, it looks like 33.6 mil. But you have 8 players that are missing. Now, again, everybody thinks that you subtract the 8 players from the cap. That is just not how it works. Please stop commenting, telling me how the cap works when you have no idea how it works. Thank you. But we're going to have around 30 million once all of the restructures, extension, everything goes on the books here. So I'll keep you up to date with that. But we do have a lot of cap space. But I appreciate each and every one of you taking the time here. But let's get rocking and rolling here. I hope you all had a great day. Yo, what is going on, Nikki? We've got Rob in the building. Hope you're all having a great day. You sickos, let's go. My man, Keith. Yo, dude. Look, we're going to break this all down. A lot of people getting frisky. We don't have this. We don't have that. Look, lots of free agents left. The draft coming up next month. So let's stay patient here. And, well, let's just jump right into this. And let's look at what the Eagles have already done. And people are losing their minds. It's like, damn, dog. Look at the people we kept just on the roster that were here last year. You get Brandon Graham, Mann, Lovato, and Alberto back. Then you extend Landon Dickerson and Jake Elliott, highest paid guard and kicker there. And then you restructure Josh Sweat. So obviously we want to know what's going on with Reddick. We'll hope that we figure things out, restructure him, maybe extend him. That would be great. But who knows? We will find out. But we did add a plethora of players. And holy hell, Saquon Barkley, Paris Campbell, Greer, Hennessy, Parker, and Pickett on offense. Then on defense, Baum, Burks, Gardner, Johnson's back. Hall, Huff, Mustapher, and White. My dear Lord. I mean, Jesus, 13 players there. Howie has been quite the busy man, and we've still got lots of cap space to go. So, look, man, things are shaping up well, but it ain't over yet. And look, there were some guys that have left, and, you know, Kelsey and Cox retiring. That is unfortunate. We knew it was coming, though. That's why we have Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis. On the other side, you have Cam Jurgens. So these things happen, unfortunately. But you saw earlier today, Quez Watkins going to the Steelers. I mean, everybody knew, at least if you watch this show, you knew Quez Watkins was not coming back here. So best of luck to you. But everybody else there, no big deal, no big surprises there. And we are adding in areas where you are missing people. So perfectly fine with that. And there are still some guys left out there. You've got 11 players still available that are free agents, former Eagles. I don't know that we bring back any of them. I talked about Olamide, but I'm not so sure when you add Paris Campbell that Olamide is coming back. You never know. Competition. I'm all about adding more wide receivers, but don't know if it will be OZ. Now, on the defensive side of the ball, maybe Maddox comes back if he doesn't get a deal elsewhere. He wants to, come on a cheap deal, whatever it may be. Shaq Leonard, we talk about his special teams ability, but we added Oren Burks. So for me, you kind of have all that stuff figured out. I don't know that any of those guys will be back, but seeing the new players, who was under contract, all that stuff we've been talking about. I've been updating this depth chart, keeping you up to date with everything. But in case you missed it, here is the offense. Anyone in green new to the team. Anyone in gray is a reserve future signing from before free agency. Obviously, anybody in white under contract. So you can see the pieces we are adding. Got backup quarterbacks. You've got running back, man, Saquon Barkley. Paris Campbell and Parker will compete. Hopefully you add in the draft. Need some more tight ends there, but you got a few competing. Offensive line. We'll see if Jurgens and Steen can solidify those jobs, or Hennessy can push them, or if we add some more talent there. We shall see, ladies and gentlemen. I would definitely look to the draft there as well. Now, on the defensive side of the ball, look, if Reddick's gone, Huff steps in with Sweat as starters. That's a no-brainer. But right now, I don't care who I have in as a starter. It's Sweat, Reddick, Huff. Nolan Smith and Brandon Graham. Holy hell, that's quite a rotation. You look at the interior, we talk about the fact that Cox is gone, but you've got Carter Davis, Milton Williams, Tuipulotu, and Ajomo there. Then you've got linebackers, obviously Devin White, Bond, and Burks all added. That's big. Bond can help you. We talk about off ball and on the edge, one of those tweener guys. We talked about, obviously people wanted Van Ginkel here. We talk about Bond having that skill set that is needed for Vic Fangio's system. So a perfect fit here. Then you talk about the secondary. Now, Isaiah Rodgers, I had him white before, but I made him green just because a lot of people I don't know, the colors are throwing him off, but Rodgers is right there. Have him in green. He is a new addition. He was here all of last year. It's just he was suspended. So, yeah, there he is. But look at Howie. Wow. So CJ Gardner-Johnson back. Tyler Hall, we'll see if he can make the team. Obviously, he provides nickel depth, but he also can provide some depth as a return man. So that's big. And, you obviously Rodgers can do that. We have Covey, one of the best punt returners in the game. So excited about that. But Campbell can help you out there. You locked up Lovato and Mann as well as Elliott. So feeling pretty good, ladies and gentlemen. But look, this is far from the finished product here. And, you need 90 guys competing. We've got the draft coming up next month, but that does not mean we cannot add more free agents. And we're going to go through each of these. I'm going to look at now. Quarterback is the only position that I don't have top fits for because we're set there, man. You've got, if you want to get an undrafted kid or something, let him come here, have 5. That's perfectly fine. But I'm not adding there. But what I'll do is I'll show you the top from each position. Then I'll show you my top guy at that position. And then I'll show you like the top 5 from each position. So let's get into it, ladies and gentlemen. You guys can tell me who you like. I'll show you these lists and we'll go through all of these bad boys. But let me jump on over here to this little old chat, see what's going on here. But yeah, man, I don't even know what off is anymore. I literally had off this weekend and all I did was football stuff and spent some time with the family. It was just like, son of a bitch. So enjoy it while you can, man. I need one of those desperately, but I hope you're doing well, Troy, my man, and cannot wait to get this season started, but we're going to keep breaking it down. Rashad Penny is not here. I don't know if you didn't just see that entire list. It just showed you there with him as a free agent. CJ Gardner-Johnson is 2.6. I've heard a few different numbers, no doubt. Yo, Nina, appreciate you tuning in. Let's go. Breaking it all down. Just did a recap of the Eagles, what they've got going on. If you guys saw the show last night or any show that I put out there, you know what's going on. But I like to recap, show you guys some things. But go Birds. Appreciate you tuning in, Little G. What is going on, my man, Sean? Goes to the Eagles intend to draft. Yeah, hilarious when people say that kind of stuff. Yeah, people are going to make up each week or almost every day that they have to draft this guy. They're drafting this guy. It's hilarious because absolutely none of those people know anything that's going on. And each year they never get it right. And it's like, damn, dog, I'm going for year 6 in a row with my pick. So we'll see, man, if they, and what they do is, if they say that the Eagles are going to draft this guy each day, they pick a new guy, they get up to about 120 players that way. Once we draft someone, it's like, well, at one point I said, and it's like, holy shit, I just stick with one player. But we'll get to that then, ladies and gentlemen. We're on fire. Do you see Kelsey or Fletch? No, not at all. I think this team is about to silence the haters. I don't like Isaiah return because he fumbles on Madden. Wow. I'll pretend I didn't see that. Yo, what's going on, Tiffany? Appreciate you tuning in. Hope you're doing well, you sicko. First round OT. Oh, yeah. Offensive line, defensive line, they'll always make sense. Yo, appreciate you tuning in. And we'll be talking about all that as we always do. And appreciate you taking the time. Now let's jump into this and get through each position here. So looking at quarterback, as I mentioned, we've got 4 here. We talked about Greer being the guy that knows the system, can help everybody. Hurts helps Kenny Pickett, helps Tanner McKee. All these guys will be competing behind Hurts. So excited. Now, here are the top 12 free agent quarterbacks out there, but I'm not giving you a best fit and not giving you any kind of fits because I don't think we're adding any of them. That's the one position I'm going to go right on past. Now, at running back, here are your top 18 that are out there. And I tried to go with 20. Some of them have 22 just to make this 200, but I found as many as I could out there. And you can see still some guys left available. Obviously, you've got big names like Zeke or Damian Harris, and Penny's still out there, and Akers and Dobbins, Kareem Hunt, McKinnon. So a plethora of names. We talked about Cordero Patterson, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. So many different names are out there. And, as much as I always go with someone like a Cordero Patterson, I don't just at this point, we've got Saquon, you got Kenny G, you got Tyrion Davis-Price, and, you talk about Lou Nichols. I think there's competition here. So if you're adding in free agency, I think I would go in the draft. But if you're going to add somebody that's cheap, obviously an injury history, so you would get him for nothing. You see if he stays healthy, have him on the roster. Why the hell not? But running back is not a position I'm looking too much into free agency. My top guys here from this, I had top 5. Why not just bring back Boston Scott? Why not? Josh Kelly, Damian Harris, Kareem Hunt here. I did have Cordero Patterson, but getting up there in age. And look, you could use him as a running back, a receiver. I just think I've talked about him for so many years. I think I'm just done. But if they had him, would not be against it. But those are my top guys from the running back position. Now, at wide receiver, there are a few guys left over. And, Renfrow, I know a lot of people are high on. Tyler Boyd's out there. Chark, OBJ, Michael Thomas, Allen Robinson. So many big names that are out there. Don't know that some of these guys still have a lot left in the tank. But some guys on the back end out there as well. You've got Agnew, Guyton Grant, Goodwin, Shenault, Trammell. So a lot of options still out there. And I think number one for me, and this may throw people off, but Jamal Agnew. You added Paris Campbell. Okay. I'm looking for a little trickster here. And this dude, he is a little trickster, and he can help you in the return game. He can help you all over the place. And I think that, you're looking at somebody that's going to be maybe 4 or 5. So I'm not, again, looking at going big here, because I think the Eagles should look in the draft to get wide receiver 3 and, compete with Parker and Campbell, whatever. But if you're going to add someone, why not an Agnew? But, there are some options out there. And if you do want to get a veteran guy and you want to pair them with this rookie that you add, maybe you do go after Odell Beckham. And I always shy away from this. Not that I don't like him. It's just each year it's, you got to add Odell Beckham. And it's like each year it's way too much. You know what I mean? And it's like, I don't think he's worth it. And each year I've been right, because he's just not as good as most people think. But at the same time, I don't think he's like some complete bust. He is very talented, at a great end of the year last year. So if he would sign for nothing, he wants to come be a part of this room, help these younger guys, I would not be against it. But I'm looking at someone like a Laviska Shenault here, just like with Agnew. We talk about being able to use them in a plethora of ways. And Shenault, you could use as a back. This dude's big. And, in the right system, maybe you can unlock that skill set. So I think for me, I am not looking at a surefire starter. Maybe Boyd. Maybe you just bring back Zacchaeus like we've talked about. Renfrow, I'm not so big on like a lot of people, but if they were to add him, I'm not against it. Again, I would look to get younger there and go into the draft, but there are some options at receiver that are out there. You guys can let me know who you like. But getting into tight end here, this is a position I feel very strongly that the Eagles need to add, and I think they should add in free agency and in this draft. And we've talked about a lot of these guys here, but it's getting slim pickings here at tight end a little bit. And I mean, there are still, some talented guys. And I think, my number one is still Brycen Hopkins, only 26 years old, going into his 5th season, former 4th round pick out of Purdue. And this kid, I just think he has that skill set we're talking about to pair with Dallas Goedert, a receiving type guy that can block and, do it all, where we need guys to push Calcaterra, Alberto. I don't know that they're the answer there. So I would look to the draft, but I would also add someone in free agency. And if not Brycen Hopkins, then, I would be looking at maybe a guy like Logan Thomas, Robert Tonyan, Michael Pruitt, Jeff Swaim. That's what we're dealing with here. That's my point. Go into the draft. I would get Brycen Hopkins, go draft somebody. And, I know Bauer, maybe, a lot of options there, but don't know if that's the first pick they're going to make. But you never know. There's a lot of talented tight ends in this draft. So, hey, pick up Hopkins, go into the draft. I will be a happy man. Now, finishing up the offense here, we got the top 22 free agent offensive linemen, and talk about adding depth there. I'm all about it. You want to add Bakhtiari? I would definitely like somebody with starting experience. Not against that. You see some other guys that are out there. On the left, mostly tackles. On the right, you got your guards and centers, but versatile pieces here, guys that can play multiple positions. And on the offensive line, I still like Connor Williams, even though we got Matt Hennessy, a guy that can play center and guard. That's what we wanted to free agency. That's what I wanted. But he has that injury history, missed all of last year. Just, better safe than sorry, and we need more depth there. I know we're going to look into the draft, but again, you need to add competition on that offensive line, and I think he would be a good fit. And there are some other options out there. I think Andres Pete, somebody that can play tackle and guard, hasn't exactly lived up to his draft status there, but I think would be an interesting addition. Dalton Reisner, experience at guard, Mason Cole, experience starting at center. So a lot of options there on offense. You guys let me know how you feel about that. Then we're going to get right into the defense. And obviously, that's where a lot of us want to look, because that's where we really need to continue adding in. Look, we still got a lot of time, so that's exactly what we will do. So we'll just stay patient here, ladies and gentlemen. Birds at Brock Bowers. Yeah, that will be a nice move, right? Good for Asian running backs out there. There's a lot of good backs, period. Don't need, Latavius, so he's like 35 years old now. It's crazy. Hope we don't carry for running just not the last guy in the safe spot. No, they just do that a lot, man. That's just part of football. I didn't know how the media tricked so many fans into saying that teams never have 4 running backs and they don't make them inactive. If Rashad Penny wanted to play, all he had to do is be better than Boston Scott, and he wasn't. It was pretty simple, but I saw the media getting everybody twisted there. But no, that's a normal thing. Yo, my man Anthony, appreciate you tuning in. Not a big Odell. He costs too much for his production output. Well, that's why I said he would have to sign for cheap, if you heard me there. Agnew over Beckham. Yeah, man, I'm a big fan of Jamal Agnew. I think that would be somebody I would definitely be for. Wouldn't bang the hip tackle. Yeah, players should break. Oh, yeah, man, you're going to get so many stupid penalties, missed tackles, so many dumb things. So dumb. Yo, Bakhtiari is a beast. I've liked him since he was drafted, man. And that's just insane to think of how long I've done like draft stuff. And no videos or no on the road to victory, but I've been obsessed. And Bakhtiari to me would be a perfect backup there, but he can provide you obviously with some starting experience. But let's get into this defense here, because there are a lot of options here, and gets me pretty excited. Now, interior defensive line, you saw what we had there. Carter Davis, Milton Williams, Love Tuipulotu, and Ajomo. You've got guys like Noah Ellis and Booker. You just added PJ Mustipher. So they added a nose tackle. That's something I was looking for. Want to see some competition there, but you still got some beast here. And as I've mentioned, you lost Fletcher Cox to retirement. Maybe you add, one of these veteran pieces. Maybe you just add more depth to nose tackle, but a lot of options out there. And I'm looking at a guy that, can play nose tackle, not exactly the, over 310 or anything, but he's over 300, 304, 6'2". This dude's a Philly native out of Florida International, undrafted 4 years ago. This will be his 5th season here, 27 years old. But Teair Tart, man, he could provide you some depth, compete with Tuipulotu and Ajomo, all those guys. So I think he would be a great addition. If you're looking for depth, a cheaper option to me would be the way to go. But if you're looking for more expensive, if you notice in these lists, I try to add a little mixture of both. So you see a guy like Calais Campbell, if you're going to spend money, maybe he'll take a little bit of a dip because he is getting older. He could be part of a Super Bowl team, a rotation. I wouldn't be against that. But then you got a guy that would be much cheaper, Nick Williams. Same goes for Lawrence Guy. Those versatile pieces that can line up in different techniques in the odd and even schemes. And then you got Al Woods, a nose tackle. So there are depth options out there at interior defensive line. But to me, I think the Eagles are pretty stacked. So don't know that they have to, but Tart to me would be the top option. Now, edge. This is one where obviously we need to know what's going on with Reddick, and they'll continue to gauge the market. We'll see what we do in the draft. Not so sure they want to trade him before June 1st, but whatever. But you can see if they were to do that, there are options available that you could add into this rotation. We obviously have Huff and Sweat, Nolan Smith, Brandon Graham, besides Reddick. So if you were to get rid of him, you could add someone like a Clowney, Okora. I mean, Hughes, Van Noy, Ngakoue, Charles Harris. There are some big names still out there. So, hey, if they want to, they could definitely add. But to me, and this is another one. This is like Odell Beckham. I'm usually off this train where everybody else is telling me we got to get him. I usually I'm not, he's 31 years old. This is going to be the same deal for Odell. If you want to come here, you want to produce, it's going to have to be at much less, than what you're used to. So he was playing at a pretty damn high level. The Ravens obviously find a lot of success for their players, but 9.5 sacks last year, 23 pressures. This dude, he's still got a lot left in the tank. I know a lot of people hold things against him for the Wentz thing, and trust me, I was at that game. I almost wanted to jump onto the field and drop kick him myself, but I also want to win a Super Bowl. So, if you're looking to spend big, maybe you go with Clowney. But again, I would try to talk him down. But maybe you go get Julian Okwara's brother, Romeo. And this dude has a better chance of starting and, a little more talented, I would say. But why not, man? Add the brothers Grimm there. And, if not, Jerry Hughes, Old Man Rivers in there, a guy familiar with Vic Fangio, Emmanuel Ogbah. And then you've got a versatile piece like Rasheem Green who can play outside and inside. So a lot of options there. But to me, I think the Eagles are going in this draft regardless. And, then they might trade Reddick just because they've drafted someone and then you've got quite a loaded room. But if you wanted to add free agents, there are some available. Don't know that I'm too high on any of them. Maybe Clowney. Again, it would have to be at the right price. Now let's jump into linebacker. And obviously we added Devin White, Zach Bond, Oren Burks. And, that's great. Devin White and Dean, hopefully the starters. But could you add more? Yes. And I would look to get younger in the draft, but I, would possibly add another veteran to compete as well. So you saw the depth chart, you saw what was going on there, but there are some guys that definitely could come here and compete. See Shaq Leonard pictured. I'm going to pass. I think my number one here, weirdly enough, Isaiah Simmons, man. And I've been high on him this free agency, but my point is I almost chose someone over him, but he struggled in coverage last year. His completion percentage allowed 81.5. Yikes. You see the missed tackle percentage 13.8. Not a huge fan of that. But look, he is one of those weapons we talk about. And I think Vic Fangio would be able to use him a lot better than Wink Martindale did. And I think you could really unlock his skill set. Look, only 25 years old, this dude. Talk about playing that big nickel, that dime backer, doing a lot of things on this defense. And I think he'd be a great addition. And the other guy I almost picked was Zach Cunningham. We talked about his relationship with Bobby King, and I think that he could clearly come back and help these younger guys and other people learn the system, because this will be the fourth year trying to run those multiple schemes. He knows what Bobby King's going to be asking of him. And obviously Vic Fangio's new, but this system, fourth year. So guys like Neville Hewitt, Jabril Cox, Joe Bacci, Gerard Davis missed last year with an injury, but very, talented kid. Hasn't been able to unlock it with the Lions or the Giants, but maybe the Eagles, oh my. So, again, I'm looking into the draft and adding Isaiah Simmons or Zach Cunningham. That's what I think the Eagles should do at linebacker. Now, at cornerback, this is one where I feel, if we're going to do something, it's going to depend on what happens in the draft. And then I think you just kind of, find a decent kid for the future, because I feel pretty loaded, like Slay and Rogers, McPherson. Who knows what'll happen with Bradbury, but you got Ringo and Ricks and, a bunch of other younger guys that are stepping in here. You just signed Hall. So you've got guys to compete. But if you are planning on getting rid of someone or whatever, there are some free agent options. Now, if I'm going to add, I would just look to the draft really, but there are some veterans and there are some guys that wouldn't mind having, but I think, my top option, yeah, there's some good ones out there, but Trey Herndon to me, 5'11", 190, play inside and outside. This will be his 8th season out of Vanderbilt. And look, this is somebody that would provide you depth. And I think, has the ability to start as well. And this is somebody that, I think has really revitalized his career the past couple of years with the Jaguars. I'm just talking about depth here. This is not like somebody you have to have, right? To me, I feel pretty good with what we have. Look to get younger in the draft. But if you want to sign somebody, there are some options. And I think Antonio Hamilton would be a great option from the Cardinals. Somebody that obviously played in Gannon's system, knows the multiple scheme D, can play a little nickel, can play some safety, can do those things that, very versatile guy that you need in this defense. Maybe Chandon Sullivan comes on back. Maybe you do bring in Tre'Davious White. I think clearly we all know how talented he is. He has to stay healthy, but that price tag might be hefty. If he would take, hey, look, I was injured, I want to win a Super Bowl, take a pay cut, I would be all for it. Now, Rock Ya-Sin, why don't you come on back now? You're here. Temple made Rock Ya-Sin. Like that kid a lot. I think he would be cheap. Would not be an option that I would be against. Now, let's finish it off with the top 22 free agent safeties remaining. And obviously, you got Justin Simmons. Kyle Duggar was signed to that transition tag. You can still try to sign him, see if they match it. Got guys like Eddie Jackson, familiar with the system. Blackman, Davis, Hyde, Ford, all kinds of guys available out there. But my number one, yep, that's right, Ashton Davis. You know, I'm still singing from the rooftops that I want some Ashton Davis. This kid, look, he played on the Jets, man. We talked about this in free agency when I talked about Bryce Huff, and I kept saying, man, I want all these Jets guys that, you know, might not have been starters per se. Now, Huff didn't start a single game. This guy at least started 5 games, but I talked about just these dudes. If they get the opportunity to start, what they could do. And you see, you know, completion percentage allowed 57.1 there, 8 pass deflected, 3 interceptions, 3 fumble recovered. So, man, this kid, I think, with a starting job, going to be his 5th season in the league, a 3rd round pick out of California. This kid, you guys have been hearing me all free agency. I would be all for adding him. Now, I put together 8, and I took off Eddie Jackson, and I talked about, you know, his fit with Vic Fangio, but I talked about all of these other guys, and I had them in front of him during that show, and a lot of my guys are still out there. So you're looking at Duggar, Blackman, Justin Simmons, Ford, and you guys know, if you're not getting Ashton Davis, give me Julian Blackman. Would be okay with Justin Simmons, a little bit older, but he knows Fangio's system for the right price, though, because he's asking too much. Duggar's going to cost you a lot. Not sure we do that. Ford, Hyde, Walker, Johnson, all much cheaper, and I think could get the job done. Could be starters, could be depth. More so Ford and Hyde. I know Blackman would be a starter. Walker could be. Johnson could be. Have to step their game up. Had some struggles there last year, but age will get you in. You never know. The right system could turn things around for you. But, ladies and gentlemen, that was all 200 and all 50 of the best fits of those free agents. So, oh, my dear Lord. Oh, hope you enjoyed all that content. But that's all I've got for you. I'm going to jump back over here to the chat and let me guys know how you feel about this list or your own list or whatever you got going on. But let me jump back over and hear what you guys got going on. Yep, I look at all Eagles news. Tiffany, I would like to see how we go get Calais. He is definitely very good. Yeah, it would really just come down to the price tag. I think that for me, you know, be great to have him. It's just how much would, you know, he want. So you got to, just like I said with Odell Beckham, just like I said with Jadeveon Clowney, you got to get them at the right price because I'm not paying massive amounts. I'm not giving them top 15, top 20 money. They got to take team-friendly deals, and that's just simple as that. I have no idea. I have not been able to talk to his agent or anything like that, but I didn't see any posts, anything like that about what he was asking, but he would definitely have to come down. So, but yeah, no doubt, softball. It would be interesting. And once those tickets become available, all that stuff, and the link, I will get that to you when I get the chance. It'd be interesting to see Clowney and Sweat. Yeah, no doubt. That would be all about it. Yeah, no thanks, bro. I wonder who's adding to his team. All right. Yes, to what, Nikki? Were you talking about the show here? I would love to know what you were talking about there. Let me just try to. This thing's freezing on me, driving me insane. All right, I'm gonna have to. All right, there it popped up. No doubt, man. Hell yeah. We'll be talking about all that stuff here shortly. No, he hasn't been officially reinstated yet. He has to be reinstated, but he will be reinstated. I appreciate that. And look, you know, that's what we're all about here. Hope you guys enjoyed all of that content. And sorry I missed who you were saying yes to, but I'm trying to keep up with this stuff. Yo, appreciate you tuning in, June. And oh yeah, let's go. Got me in him. Let's go. Yes, you know it. This kid, just like I talked about with Huff, I like him, and I like him a lot for a reason. So let's lock him in. Let's go win that effing Super Bowl by making the right choices here. And then let's go smash it in the draft. And man, I am trying to get this draft stuff ready. And I'm like, oh my God, dude, like this stuff. It really, I'm always like, oh, I hate the off season. It flies by to me and now I've added this extra job. So now like I've got like 3 jobs and it's just all hell, pure hell trying to do this. And God help us. But I'm going to keep trying to be the best I can for you guys, putting out the best content I possibly can. You keep showing up. And that's how this will go, ladies and gentlemen. But if you got anything from this, do me a favor. Hit that like button. You can always subscribe. Let me know who your top 3 are, your top 5. Maybe you got a top 5 at every damn position. I want to hear whatever you've got, whoever you like, whatever is on your mind. I want to hear it. Whether you're watching right now and you want to come back to the video after I'm done, or whether you're watching this later, I'm always down to talk some birds. But again, that is all I have for you tonight. Got some things to put out here this week. Keeping you up to date with everything. Whenever there's a signing, any stuff like that, I will always keep you up to date with that. But yeah, and I'm all about adding a wide receiver in this draft, and I think the Eagles will do that. So all about it. But Eagles are up 5 points. What, dude? Dog, do you always just want? All right, no doubt. Look, I love you guys. Appreciate all of you sickos who tuned in. Hope you enjoyed all that content. I literally, like, on my break today, was like, like trying to get some of these things together, trying to update, make sure I didn't miss anybody that was signed, giving you all the free agents. But you guys can go back, pause those pages, whatever, look at the guys you like. I would love to hear your thoughts on this, whether you agree, disagree. I want to hear what you guys got going on up there. But I appreciate you guys. That's all I've got for you. So take care of yourselves. And until next time, I am Jimmy Smith, and this is On the Road to Victory. You all have yourselves a great rest of your night. If you need anything, you know you can reach out, whether it's to talk about the birds, talk about life. You just need a friend. Always here for you as you are for me. But you all stay safe out there. And as always, say it with me now. Go Birds!